Before we dive into making music, we need to make sure that our hardware and software are set up properly in our preferences and communicating. And I'm going to give you some quick guidelines and tips to get this set up so we can get to the fun music making part of this course. We're going to begin by accessing the Preferences menu by clicking on the application's name live on the uppermost left-hand part of the screen here. And we're going to select Preferences from this drop-down menu. So we'll start by clicking on the Audio tab here on the left-hand side of the Preferences menu. And we'll start by selecting our audio input device, or the place that we want to receive signal from. So if you're going to be using the internal microphone, you would select Built-in Microphone here. But only select this when you're ready to record, otherwise have the No Device option selected. Or if you're using an audio interface, which is going to receive an audio signal from a microphone or a direct input like a guitar or bass or something like that, you're going to select the interface's name from this drop-down menu. So in my case, I would choose the Duet USB here. Or if you're not going to be receiving any audio or recording any audio at all, you can just keep No Device selected. Moving on down to the output. If you're listening on headphones or something that's connected to the 1/8" audio jack or listening straight out of your computer speakers, you're going to choose Built-in Output here. Or again, if you've got an audio interface connected to your computer, which is going to send signal to an external set of monitors, you would select the name of the interface from this menu as well. So the other thing we want to look at in this audio setup is the buffer size, which is located right here, and the overall latency, which is right here. Latency is the time it takes for you to play or record something, for that signal to go through the computer and or an interface, and then for it to come out of a set of monitors or headphones and to finally hit your ears. And latency can be really annoying, and it makes it difficult to record while you're hearing yourself slightly behind. So we're going to try to eliminate it as much as possible. But that being said, you can never really completely eliminate latency. And depending on how powerful your computer is, how much RAM you have, you're going to have varying success at eliminating it. So to lower the overall latency, we're going to adjust the buffer size down to a lower setting. So you can see as I flip through here, at my lowest sample setting, 32 buffer size, I've got 3.97 milliseconds of latency. And if I choose 64, it's the same here. 128 results in 5.42 milliseconds. And if I chose the highest sample setting, 2,048 samples, 49 milliseconds of latency, which is pretty considerable. So as a general rule of thumb, the human ear perceives anything over 30 or 13 milliseconds as being latent or behind. So you want to find a setting which gets close to 13 milliseconds without lowering the buffer size too far, as that's going to result in making your computer work extra hard. And as you have more things that are being processed or more audio and MIDI in each session, it's going to cause problems for you. So I'm going to flip around here. 512 samples is resulting in 14.1 milliseconds, which is probably close enough for me right now. And in order to test, just to make sure that we are at a decent setting, I'm going to select the test tone box here. And you can see that it's producing a pure sine wave sound. And as long as you're hearing this clearly, there's no digital distortion or crackling that you're hearing, you're at a decent setting and you can continue forth and create. So now let's switch over to the MIDI sync part of the Preferences menu here on the left-hand side, right below Audio. And before we even do anything here, you need to make sure that your MIDI controller is connected via the proper cable and that you've got any drivers or software that the controller came with installed in your computer. So Live is typically really just smart when it comes to this. I just opened this menu and it's already seeing that I've got an LPK25 connected and it's got it under the input and output without me having to actually deduce anything. So this should be the case for you as well, and you want to make sure that track is on. And if you're not seeing it, you probably need to go reinstall your driver, restart your computer, and start the software again. So from here, we're going to exit the Preferences menu by clicking on the X on the uppermost left-hand side. And then now, we're going to look for this little yellow square to light up when I'm pressing my MIDI controller. So I'm pressing the keys on my controller and you can see that it's showing me that I'm receiving MIDI information. And if you're using your keyboard, your computer keyboard in order to play MIDI, if you press any of the keys in the row starting with A and ending with L, which I'm doing right now, we're also going to see this light flash. So we're good right now. Once we're sure we're receiving MIDI, we're going to test the output to double check that we've got our audio setting right as well. So we're going to turn the metronome on by making sure that this metronome box is yellow, and then I'm going to press play to trigger playback, and we should hear the metronome counting off the measures. So if the volume on the metronome is too loud for you, you can always adjust the volume by clicking and dragging on this blue knob with the headphone icon on it to lower the sound of the metronome or to raise it, depending on your preference. So if you're not receiving audio or MIDI, you need to go back into your preferences and adjust the settings. And then once we've got everything set up properly, we're ready to start making some music.